how well a company is doing and how much money it makes doesn't have anything to do with each other. It's just when you're a high growth company and your growth slows down, your stock goes to the bottom, but yet you could still be making a bunch of money. I mean, look at Walmart when their growth slowed down, Microsoft. Both of these companies stayed in the dumps for 10 years, but they were making billions of dollars a year. Well, the same thing happened with the rainforest. Was, first I tried to buy them. I wasn't able to buy them because somebody outdid the vote, SWIB, I think, Teachers Fund in Wisconsin, because they didn't think I was paying enough. And so I bought them for 6 months later for $50 million less. But I bought this cash flow, and they even had like $15 or $20 million in the bank. I mean, so it was an unbelievable deal. But this goes back to something that I talk about in the book a lot, is that if you're going to borrow money, you can do a best case scenario on your deal, okay? Because that's how you should think is positive. But one of the reasons that I've always been successful and the bad times haven't gotten me, because every deal I do a worst case scenario performance that I keep close to my chest. And if the worst case scenario doesn't work, then you better not do the deal, because you know what happens? 90% of the time it's the worst case scenario that happens and not the best case. But in the rainforest case, what I decided to do was I'm going to look out 3 to 5 years, and of these 30 rainforests, if I can't make it on just these big 5, there's 3 at Disney, there's 1 in the Mall of America, and I think there's 1 in Chicago. And I said, these are the 5 that are doing the most money. And if they're not going to be around, then I shouldn't do this deal. Well, here it is, 20 years later, and I still think there's 26 rainforests. And I've made my money over and over and over again, because you know what? There's new kids every day, and they want to go to the rainforest because it has that kind of appeal.
Yeah, I mean, I love that lesson. I really think that goes a lot to your expertise to be able to see the diamond in the rough. Or, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
But that's every deal I've done, is that it's usually poor management at the corporate level, but it has nothing to do with how successful you are at the store level.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why, you're a billionaire and we are not. I mean, you can see the value.
But that comes very easy for me. But that's every deal I've done. Yeah. When I bought an old California chain chart house, 20-something years ago, and realized these are the greatest locations in America. I'm going to change the logo, redo the restaurants, upgrade the menu, and I still have 30 of them 20 years later.
Let's talk about that a little bit deeper in the restaurant business. So historically, one of the worst businesses to get into, one of the riskiest, one of the highest fail rates, and yet you're crushing it. What are some of the keys to your success in the restaurant business?
Well, number one, I try to buy right, and I have great systems and controls, and I'm constantly changing. And these are all things I talk about, is that you got to change. And just because you're successful, that doesn't mean you're going to be successful tomorrow. But that's how I've even taken older brands like Chart House and Morton's and updated them tremendously by new menus, new atmosphere, new music, new waiters' uniforms, and keep them fresh, especially if they had good food, and then upgrade the food to what people are eating today. So I prefer to buy something that is having issues and fix it up. It's less expensive than building it new.
I mean, we were just sitting back, chopping it up, reminiscing about the good old days and all that, tracking my roots, where I came from.